As a club officer, we strive to make our clubs strong and successful. There are three concepts that we need to understand in order to accomplish this. Tonight, you're going to learn about these three concepts. You'll learn how to use these concepts in marriage with the Distinguished Club Program, the Club Success Plan, and everything else that you do as an officer. Please welcome our presenter tonight, past District Governor, past Region Advisor, Distinguished Toastmaster, Stephen Shaner. Stephen?
Thanks, Dave. Hello, everyone. Greetings from Superior, Wisconsin. It's great to be here. Congratulations on being elected a club officer for your club. You've been through some club officer training, and we're now offering these weekly webinars to give you some additional training and information to help you be successful. Club success. There's three concepts that I'd like you to take away here this evening. These concepts, if you learn them, study them, and utilize them in everything that you do as a club officer, will guarantee your success, the success of your club and your members. So let's go through those three concepts. Number one, member success equals club success. And what do I mean by that? Our founder, Dr. Ralph Smedley, once said, "I know of no other organization like Toastmasters that is dedicated to the individual." That is one of the things that makes this organization unique. We are indeed dedicated to the individual. Everybody that I have worked with within Toastmasters, every international president, has been dedicated to the individual, the members. I promise you that our district trio at this time is dedicated to the members. Okay? And you as club officers also need to be dedicated to the individual, to the members. And if you look at the materials that we have, I will be going through the Distinguished Club Program and the Club Success Program. You'll see how all these goals, these things that Toastmasters has set up, lead us directly to that serving the members of our clubs. So concept number one is member success equals club success. If we help our members be successful, our clubs will be successful. And that is the ultimate goal, to help our members succeed. Number two, everything that we do as a club officer should be focused towards quality clubs. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For quality clubs, I'm going to let everybody think about the moments of truth. If you're not familiar with it, look it up, get the material and learn it. Moments of truth, if you're doing those things, there's 6 major points and 6 points underneath each one of those. So there's 36 points of the moments of truth. And I know we'll be having some of these Tuesday night sessions focus on the moments of truth. But in the meantime, download the material, learn it, and strive to do those things. Pick 2 or 3 for this year and focus on those areas where you're weak. Focus, bring those up. Next year, pick 2 or 3 more. Moments of truth is how we get to be quality clubs. And what that means to me, and what I've seen in my experiences, is that your members and your guests should see you doing quality things in your meetings. And we all know what those are: prepared agendas, everybody ready to go with their roles. Everything is, you walk in, you start, and you get going right into the meeting. For those of you that are in maybe low member clubs where you only get 6, 7 people meeting a week, consider not doing all of the roles. If you've got a person that's trying to do 2 or 3 roles, they're not going to do any of those roles in a quality way. So it's better to have 6 people focusing on 6 individual roles than 6 people trying to do 12 different things. That is also how people see quality within the club and when you have members. The third concept is this: keep it simple. In everything that we do, keep it simple. Sometimes, and I've done this myself, we try and create this miracle that's going to have 300 members join our club overnight, or do some great thing within the organization. Toastmasters has given us everything we need to be successful. Use those tools, keep it simple, and do the simple things. So keeping those concepts in mind, and that is being dedicated to the individual, the member, quality clubs, and keeping it simple. I'll share this manual at this time. Each club should have received this. This is called the Distinguished Club Program and a Club Success Plan, how to be a distinguished club. If you don't have a copy, you can download this PDF I did it this morning right from the Toastmasters International website. You can download it, and there's some very good information in here on how to be a distinguished club. First thing it talks about is our international values. We know these: integrity, respect, service, excellence, the brand promise, the Toastmasters promise. Review this. Review this often, even in your clubs. Review the Toastmasters promise. Everybody that signs our applications to join has this on the application. We need to keep that in our minds as we go. I'll skip through some of this. So let's talk about the Distinguished Club program. I'm not going to go through every one of the points, but there's a couple of key areas I want to talk about here. I talked about this concept of being dedicated to the individual. As you look at the 4 different parts of the Distinguished Club program, we have goals. And these goals are set to measure how we are doing. But take a look at these education goals. We've got the 6 original ones that we've been doing for years. So 2 competent communicator awards, 2 more CC awards, on through to 1 more CLA, LB, ALS, or DTM award. We've added in the pathways. Okay, so we've got those 6 pathways goals. We want to accomplish any 6 of these, up to a maximum of 6, towards our Distinguished Club program. And I'll ask you, can you see where helping our members achieve these is being dedicated to the individual? It absolutely is. We as club officers need to understand, number 1, why our members joined. And if you go around your club and ask, you're going to get a variety of different answers. Okay, everybody didn't join Toastmasters for the same reason I did. So as club officers, we need to understand our members. We need to talk to them and understand why they're there and help them accomplish their goals. That's one of the things I love about pathways. It's not a one-size-fits-all anymore. Everybody's on a path that is important to them to help them achieve whatever goals they have in their life, in their professional life, their personal life, their community, whatever it is. Every single one of these, as we help our members achieve these, is being dedicated to the individual. Membership. 4 new members and 4 more new members. Especially the clubs that have low members, getting those new members in is huge. It's beneficial to all of us, getting new members, it's new ideas, new ways of doing things, new stories. It's wonderful. And again, that's helping those people accomplish their goals, and it's us being dedicated to the individual. Training. It's so important that our club officers are trained. It's so important that our club officers work together as a team to help those members achieve the goals that are important to them. Again, that is being dedicated to the individual. And finally, the administration part. Get your dues in on time. We have a lot of activities where if people are not paid up, they cannot get credit. They need to be a member in good standing to do the things they want to do in Toastmasters and achieve those goals. So we need to get those dues in on time. Being a member not in good standing or a club not in good standing, that doesn't help any of us. So we need to do the administration work that we're required to do for our clubs. And again, I just want to reiterate every single one of these in the Distinguished Club program. Yes, it's numbers. Yes, they're goals. If we help our members accomplish their goals, these will take care of themselves. Again, member success equals club success. I'm going to skip through a few pages here. And it goes into more detail about all the things I just talked about. And as we know, 5 of any of the 10 goals were distinguished clubs, 7 of the 10 is select distinguished, and 9 of the 10 is president's distinguished. And what those really mean is that we have helped our members achieve their goals. We know about membership base. We know about, there is the membership requirement to be distinguished. We have to have 20 or more members or a net gain of 5. We know that. So that is also part of the Distinguished Club program. Let's move on to the club success plan. And I highlighted a couple of things that I think are important. All 7 officers and the immediate past president develops a club success plan based on the needs and goals of club members. Okay, and it takes a team of people who are dedicated to a common goal, have a plan, and execute it well. So we know what the goals are. The club success plan is all about discovering what our members need, finding their goals and developing a plan to help them achieve those goals and working together, dedicated to the common goal and have a plan to execute it well. You need to have a plan. You need to execute it. And you need to execute it well, as it says there. As we go through this document, there's a lot of boxes to fill in. And as you're going through this with your team, again, keep those 3 concepts in mind. And what I would do is, as you look at each one of these boxes, ask the questions. What do I need to do here to be dedicated to our members? Okay. What do I need to do here to have a quality club? Okay. And how can I keep it simple? So name the members of the club executive committee. That would be all 7 of your offers and immediate past present. That's your team composition. You may have some other people that, sometimes they're not really club officers, but perhaps you might have a vice president public relations. You might also have a web editor, somebody that's separate. You may want to include them as part of your team. So those key people in your team are the people that you want to list there. What are your values? We know the values of Toastmasters International is integrity, respect, service, and excellence. What are the values of your executive team and of your club? I would suggest using the same 4 and perhaps adding 2. I wouldn't get too many though. Again, keep it simple. And anytime you run into any kind of conflict, you're not sure which way to go, I would suggest going back and reviewing your values. Okay. Service is a very important one. Okay. Integrity, very important. These are all very important. And again, dedicated the individuals where we want to be. What are your team operating principles? What does that mean? Principles are things that never change. Okay. Things like trust, safe learning, collaboration. What principles are important to your team? If the 7 officers in the club are going to work together to accomplish this plan, what are the principles that you want to practice? Okay. And list those here. And again, you don't have to get real elaborate. 2 or 3 of those, maybe you have 5 or 6. Maybe there's just 1 that's important to everybody. Talk about that. And then figure out what you want in there as a team. I want to add at this point too, this is a living document. It will change as you go through the year. People will leave the club, people's goals will change. So review it often. Go back and you may decide, you know what, we need to come up with a different operating principle at this point because something has changed within the club, or perhaps you had a leadership change or one of your officers left and you had to re-elect somebody. So when that happens, anytime you've got a new team, you need to go back and go through this and make sure everybody's on the same page. Very important. What are your potential obstacles? For example, in my club last year, one of our officers lives about 1 hour and 20 minutes away. So it was very difficult for her to attend our officer meetings. So we tried to do them right after the club meeting, since she was always usually going to be at the club meeting anyway, but that didn't even work out sometimes. So what are the potential obstacles of your club committee, your club officer committee, your executive committee getting together and accomplishing these goals? Write those down. If you understand those and everybody is aware of them, you'll find ways to work around those. You'll find tools that will help you work around those. So very important. Don't just skim over that one. Discuss it. Get the ideas, get the feedback from everybody. Meeting protocol. How are you going to do tasks? How are you going to delegate? How often are you going to meet? How are you going to meet? Is it going to be phone calls? Is it going to be in person? Is it going to be lunch? Is it going to be dinner? Is it going to be 4 o'clock in the morning? So make those decisions and make sure everybody is aware and accepts those and move on. And sometimes you may, for the group, you may have 6 people that say, yeah, this works for me, and 1 person that may not. Try to find something that fits all 7 people's schedule. If that doesn't work, figure out a way, whether it's a Zoom meeting like this where you can do video conferencing, or if it's over the phone, whatever works for your group. Define it and agree to it. How are you going to make decisions? Lots of different ways that you can go there. Do Robert's Rules of Order. If you're going to do that, I suggest you learn it and learn it well. You can just do straight votes. You can do secret ballots. There's lots of different ways that you can make decisions. So decide as a team how you are going to do that. Is it 50% plus 1? Is that your majority, or do you want a 75% majority? Make those decisions up front. How are you going to communicate? This can be a tough one. I'll give you an example of me and my boss. My boss is an email person. I am a phone person. He sends me an email, I pick up the phone and I call him. And he laughs because he'll send me an email and then he'll pick up his handset, but he'll hold the button down until the phone rings because he knows I'm going to call him as soon as he sends an email. So that's our two preferences, and we've kind of worked that out and it works fine. But figure out for your club, how are you going to communicate with each other? Telephone, email, smoke signals, whatever it is, just decide what it is you're going to do and stick to that and keep going with that. And again, that may change at some point. Communication parameters. And again, this is your email, your phone. How long are your meetings going to be? I have found the best executive committee meetings are 30 minutes or less. You don't want big, long, drawn-out meetings for your executive committee meetings. At the beginning of the year, they might be a little longer because you'll be developing your club success plan and you'll be having a lot of discussion, but eventually you should be able to accomplish what you need to accomplish in probably 30 minutes, maybe a little more. Come in with an agenda, give everybody an opportunity to talk about their goals, talk about what their plans are, how things are going, and where things are, and give each of your officers that opportunity. Let's see, differences of opinion. Do we have those in Toastmasters? Yes, we do, at every single level of the organization. How are you going to resolve those differences? And again, that might be you decide when we have differences, we're going to discuss them until everybody agrees. If that happens, great. Or nope, we're going to vote majority rules, but decide in advance how you're going to do those so everybody has the expectations and they know what's going to happen and there's no surprises for anyone. How will you support each other? Very important question. So as the club president, how are you going to support the other officers? Okay, as VP of PR, how are you going to support the other officers? And I think each one of us as a club officer needs to look at that question and make that decision. How are we going to support each other? And it's imperative that all of your club members see the club officers working together, getting along, and doing the things that support the members, because they will notice if that's not the case. This is an interesting one. How will the club executive committee be held accountable for its responsibilities? Who's going to hold them responsible and accountable? It's up to each of us to hold ourselves accountable and responsible, but if as a club officer I see somebody that's not doing what we think they should be doing, it's time to have a talk. And there may be a very good reason. So club president, if one of your officers, you don't think they're doing what they should be doing, talk to them. Don't let this go on. It's not going to solve itself all on its own. Talk to them, find out what's going on. And they may come back and they may say, this role isn't really what I thought it was going to be. And I'm very uncomfortable here. So then you have some option, get them more training, get them some help, or maybe it's time for that person to move on and you get somebody else in that position. Or they might come back and they might say, I'm very comfortable with this, and this, but these two things, I don't have time and I'm just uncomfortable with those. At that point, another club officer may pick up the slack. I have done that as club president a few times. I've had one of my officers say, I'm not able to do this. All right, I'll take care of that for you. So even as club president, we're there to serve and to serve our other officers and our members. So, but have the conversation. That's the important part. Find out what's going on. Make sure expectations are clear and define those in this plan. This is what we want to accomplish, and this is when we want to accomplish it by. And if we're running behind, make some changes. How will the club executive committee and supporting members be recognized for their efforts? Lots of ways to do this. You can do certificates at the end of the year. You can give little plaques at the end of the year. If you've got a club newsletter, you can recognize their efforts in that club newsletter. VP of PR, pay attention. On your website, you can recognize on your website in the member sections. So there's lots of different ways you can recognize people for their efforts within the club. And recognition is a very important part of Toastmasters. We believe highly in that, and we recognize people for their accomplishments. And that includes club officers. And so we know, club officers aren't perfect. I've seen it. We pride ourselves in telling people that Toastmasters is a great place to make a mistake. If you're a speaker, come in here and make mistakes, make a lot of them because you'll learn from those. But then we hold our officers at a high level and our district officers at a higher level, and we expect them to be perfect. Well, they're learning too, and they're learning those roles just as well. So always remember that. We're all learning in this organization. Okay, moving on. Starting point. What is your membership base? And then we talked about the qualifying requirement of 20 or more, or net growth of 5. So how many members does your club aim to have by June 30th? Okay, how much growth does your club aim to have by June 30th? So that, 2 very important questions. Those are goals, membership-wise, and we have a lot of clubs out there struggling with membership. Set some realistic goals. If you're at 8 members and your goal is to get 48, it might be a little tough. It can be done, but it might be a little tough. So set realistic goals. Again, keep it simple. Take small steps. When you try and do too much, it's very easy to get overwhelmed. It's very easy to get frustrated. So take small steps. So if you say, you know what, we're going to do 5 new members this year. You might end up with 8, but take small steps. We know about the different levels of achievement. How many of the 10 goals does your club aim to achieve? It's a great question. Okay, there's 10 goals. How many of them do you plan to achieve? If you don't think about them in advance, you're going to miss some. We have one goal that really is accomplished the prior year, and that's getting the club officer list in by June 30th. So get a head start on that and figure out which ones you do and you think you can accomplish and focus on those. So now in this document, we're going to talk about those education goals 1 through 6. Well, the club success plan really has a lot to do with how we're going to be a successful club, but how we're going to accomplish those goals in the Distinguished Club program. So situation analysis, I love this concept. I use this all the time in Toastmasters. I use it at work pretty much daily. And it's to assess the state of your club right now. Okay, what is the state of your club? And you need to be honest here. Okay. So review the current situation regarding educational goals. So what is the current status of club members? How many DTMs do you have in the club? How many CCs do you have? How many level 1s do you have? And then who is due to earn an education award? So we need people doing, accomplishing their goals. What goals do they have, and what do they plan to, and when do they plan to accomplish it? Those are the types of questions you need to ask and get the answers from. So that is finding out where you are as a club. Where are we right now? Okay, and then moving forward, what are the goals? How motivated are members to progress through the education program? How do we discover that? We can ask. Every club I've seen, we've had people that are just flying through the program. And then we have some that are, taking 4 years to complete a DTM. I've seen people take 16 years to complete a DTM. This is a work at your own pace, but find out what that pace is from each of your members. Okay, if they're doing a speech a month, that's valuable information. But talk to them. If they say, I'd like to do more, then give them that opportunity. But that gives you some very good information as you're planning your goals. Okay, if you get 6 people that are doing a speech a month, you can calculate that on how far they're going to be in the program at the end of the year. What obstacles keep members from completing projects? What might those be? Lots of things. Time. We had a club up here in Duluth that started off with, we had 22 members when we started, and as much as I tried to get them to meet weekly, they wouldn't do it. So they were meeting every other week. And they were salespeople, so they were quite often missing meetings, which meant that they were canceling meetings. So they were only really meeting once a month. So then they decided that, we'll just meet once a month. Well, then they were missing those, and so people, so they were canceling those, so they were meeting every other month. And then they finally just disbanded. They weren't meeting enough, in my opinion. So if you've got people, I had a guy approach me one time. It took him 4 years to complete a CC, and he said, I just don't think I'm getting any better. And I just said, speak more, or speak more often. And that really helped. So look at what obstacles are keeping your members and see if you can help them overcome those obstacles. How familiar are members with the education program? Right now we're in transition. So we've got people in the old education program. Do they understand it? Do they know they have to have it done in a pretty short period of time here that's going to end in less than 2 years? How about the Pathways program? If they're in pathways, do they understand how it works? Do they understand the path they're on and how they're going to, what they need to do to get to the end? We need to help them understand those things. How does your club promote the education program? I think a great place to do that is on your website. Have some information out there for your members on the education program and the different paths and what's involved in each of those. Put that information out there where they can get at it, and you can even make that available to the public if you want to. And any additional notes. Again, this whole situation analysis, be honest, and it's okay. If you're not doing all the things you need to be doing, that's okay, but understand that, and it gives you some things to work towards. I don't know of a club yet that I've seen that's perfect at all of this. So you do the little things, pick a few things and work on those. So education action plan. So education action 1 has to do with the lower level awards, the CCs, the level 1s, level 1 and 2 in pathways. Okay. What action are you going to take to help members earn those, the CCs and the lower level pathways? Okay. How are you going to help them? How are you going to help them accomplish their goal? How are you going to be dedicated to the individual? That's the question, the answer. What resources do you have for action 1? Okay, what equipment, materials, people, potential funding? People need mentors. People need coaching in this stuff. What resources do you have available? How many, I almost said old Toastmasters, sorry again. How many mature, no, long-term, that's the term I'm looking for. Long-term Toastmasters you have in your club that can help some of these newer people and help them get them on their way. Assignment for education action 1. So we've got an action we want to take. Who's it assigned to? Define that. And again, set those expectations. Don't just say, okay, we're going to accomplish this goal. Okay, who's going to accomplish it? Okay, and then you see the next one, the timetable. So who is going to do it? It might be one person, might be 2 people, might be 5. But define that and then come up with the timetable. We're going to accomplish this, by December 31st. Okay, so when will it be complete? And how will progress be tracked? One of the things in delegation, we got to track the progress. We don't wait till the end of time to go, where are we? We don't wait until June 29th to figure out where we are on our DCP. So we track it all along, and we need to track these goals all along as well. Education action 2. So this has to do with the little bit higher awards, the ACBs, ACSs, ACGs, and the level 2 and 3 in pathways. And again, what action are we going to take? Okay, and that's our action number 2. What resources do we have to complete whatever action we have in here? Okay, who's it assigned to? And then what's the timetable? When will it begin? Will it be done? And how are we going to track it? And on this tracking stuff, are we going to report back every month? Are we going to report back every week? How are we going to, what's the timeline? How are you going to do that? How are you going to keep track? Is it in a spreadsheet? Do you have it on your website? Make those decisions as you're coming up with this plan. Education action number 3 has to do with the high level education awards. So these are the competent leader, advanced leaders, the DTMs, or levels 4 and 5 in pathways. Again, what action? We might have some people that are close to getting their DTM, but they got just a couple of things left to do. How are we going to get them there? Okay, write it down. What resources do we have to help them be successful in those goals? Okay, who's responsible? Again, the timetable. When will it begin? When will it end? And how are we going to track the progress on that? That is all education related. Now we're going to go to membership. Goals 7 and 8, 4 new members and 4 more new members. Situation analysis again. So take a look at your membership. How many strong members do you have? How many weak members do you have? Okay. And as you're looking at goals, how can we bring those weak members up to speed? It's amazing what bringing a person to a TLI or to a convention will do. I've had people that I've asked for years to come to a TLI, and I finally got him to a TLI, and he's attended every single district event since. It's been years. So those types of things help. What kind of social events do you have as a club, or do you meet with other clubs? So there's all kinds of things you can do to, bring those weaker members, a little bit more in to get them a little bit more excited, get them moving forward. But take a serious look. What is the current membership? What is your current membership situation? Okay, and on average, how many new members join your club each year? It's a good question to ask, and it's a good piece of information to know. And then what are your club's current obstacles in achieving its membership goals? We've got a club up here that meets at 6:45 in the morning. Okay, and that's fine. There's a lot of early morning people out there. I'm one of them, but is that a potential obstacle? Maybe, and we should write that down in our plan. Okay, that's a potential obstacle from getting more members. It's 6:45 in the morning. No, I'm sorry, 6:45. That doesn't sound so early, does it? And then the additional notes. Then your membership action plan, number 1. How will you gain 4 new members? You're going to do open houses? You're going to do membership drives? What are you going to do? How are you going to gain those 4 members? Always remember, word of mouth is the best way to get the word out there. Have your members bring guests. It's a great way to get new members in. Resources. What resources do you have? Okay. Do you have a flyer? Do you have places where you can hang flyers around your office or around the community? For one of the clubs up here in Duluth, downtown, we were meeting in one of those buildings downtown. We went to every single office in several of the high-rise buildings, and we asked if we could hang an open house flyer. And about 40% of those businesses let us do that. And we had several guests come to an open house. So look for those types of things to do. What resources do you have? Okay, who is going to work on this particular goal? Everybody's thinking VP of membership. Who's responsible for membership? And if everybody said everyone, I have not been able to find a phone number or an email address for everyone. So if I ask that question again, who is responsible? Everyone say, I am. We are all responsible for membership. Our VP of membership is responsible for coordinating all those activities. Assignment could be the VP of membership, could be VP of membership and others, could be just others. So define it. What's the timetable? When will it start? When will it be complete? How will we track it? Starting to see some repetition here, some common themes. Membership action 2, and that's the second part. How are we going to gain those 4 more new members? Same thing. How are we going to do it? Open houses. What ideas do we have? What are our resources? Who's that assigned to? And then the timetable. And for the first one, you might do July 1st through December 31st. For the second, you might do January 1st through June 30th. You can decide that on your own. What works best for you and your officers and your club. Get that defined. Training. When we have 7 club officers trained working together, it's amazing to watch what happens in those types of clubs. What is the current training situation in your club? And again, we're doing a situation analysis here. On average, how many club officers are trained each year? That's a great piece of information. If we're averaging 4, hey, let's get that up to 5. 7 is better, 7 is best, but let's again, realistic goals. Keep it simple. What are your club's current obstacles in achieving its training goals? What are the obstacles? Is it people live remotely, it's too far to travel? What are the obstacles? Understanding those obstacles helps you come up with ways to overcome those obstacles. And then any additional notes. Training action plan. So what's your plan? What's the resources? Who's assigned? And then your timetable. And how will it be tracked? Training action 2, and this is the second round. Okay. And again, how are we going to make all this stuff happen with the timetable? How will it be tracked? Finally, your administration goal. On-time payment of membership dues, accompanied by the names of 8 members, at least 3 of whom must be renewing. We know about that one. So do the situation analysis. What are your club's current obstacles in achieving its administration goals? So what's keeping you from getting your dues in on time or your club officer list in on time? For your club officer list, I will hold your elections on your first meeting in May. Just the clubs I've belonged to, that's what we've always done. First meeting in May, we have our club elections. We get our officers elected, we get them submitted. We're done. We're way before the June 30th deadline. And we have too many clubs sometimes. They wait, and all of a sudden it's June 29th. And, we got to elect our officers, and they don't get in on time. That's an easy one. Get it done in May and move on. Then once you get your officers elected in May, they can start planning for the next year, and they can hit the ground running on July 1st. So what are the obstacles? And then the additional notes. And then what's your plan? How will you ensure that membership dues for at least 8 people, better that you have all of them received October 1st or April 1st? What action are you going to take? Okay. What resources do you have? Who's assigned? And then your timetable, and how will it be tracked? And then for your club officer list, same way. Now, some clubs select officers twice a year, so they need to think about that one as well. What are the resources, assignment, timetable, when you'll start, how are you going to track it? And then everybody signs. Okay, so you've got all of your officers, your immediate past president. You can even have some club members, if they have a particular role assigned as part of your team, they can sign and date it as well. Once you've developed this plan, again, this is a living document. It will change throughout the year. Review it often. And each of your club officers can be responsible for a section of this, and some of these are going to be assigned to them anyway. But at each of your meetings, review it. Where are we on the Distinguished Club Program? Where are these people on their goals? Where are we on the goals within this document? Does something need to change? And it doesn't hurt to do that situation analysis more than once. You halfway through the year, it wouldn't hurt to do it again. There may be some new obstacles, there may be some new things to learn. It's a wonderful tool if we use it. Again, I want to reiterate, as you're answering these things, be dedicated to the individual. Okay, think about how you're going to do quality meetings and keep it simple. I think we're ready for some questions. If anybody's still awake, let's see if we have some questions out there. Anything, Dave?
All right. On the bottom of your screen, you should have the option to raise your hand. So if you'd like to ask a question, I'm going to ask that you raise your hand. I'll acknowledge you and then unmute your audio. Oh, there we go. Ralph, I see you here. Ralph, you should be able to unmute yourself. So I've allowed you to unmute.
Okay, there we go. I should be unmuted now.
We hear you.
We can hear you. Yep.
Okay. Thank you for taking my question. I printed off this document and I've started handwriting the entries in each of these boxes and squares. How would you like this submitted to you? Do you want me to figure out a way to get it typed in, or are you going to learn how to read my handwriting?
The overall intent is to have this as a document for your club. Now, in last month's newsletter, we had talked about if your club is doing their club success plan and you're planning to be a distinguished club, let us know, and we'll recognize you in the newsletter and on our website. So we want to give you recognition for that, but really the purpose of this document is for your club, and it's to help your club officers keep focus on meeting the needs of the members.
Okay, so it's up to us then to figure out how we want to maintain this and get you a copy, however that is. Is that correct?
That's perfect, yes.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet.
Thanks, Ralph.
Any other questions?
We're a shy bunch.
Looking off to the side. Oh, we've got a couple. Okay, Michelle, I see you here. I'm going to allow you to talk. It looks like you are muted, so when you're ready, you can unmute yourself.
Is that Michael?
Oh, Michael, sorry.
We're not hearing you, Michael. You should have a button there to unmute yourself somewhere. Still not hearing him.
You're still muted, Michael. All right, well, we're waiting for that. Ralph, I see your hand is up again. So I'm going to...
Okay. Can you tell me if there is a, can I get on this document in the system and type into these boxes, or is this something I have to do externally to the document? Like in a hard copy?
You should be able to, if you have a PDF editor, an Adobe Reader will let you do this. This is set up as a PDF form.
Okay.
So that will let you edit. That will let you type in and save the document.
Okay. That answers my question. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Hey, Michael, if I'm not sure if you can hear me, we're having a hard time hearing you. There should be a Q&A panel. If you've got a question, can you type your question in? Because we're having a hard time getting audio from your side. So there is a Q&A panel at the bottom, or a button on the bottom that says Q&A, and if you type your question in, we'll be able to read it and then we can answer it. All right, while we're waiting for that, any other questions? Okay, I'm going to ask a question and we'll keep an eye open for Michael's question. The intent of these webinars is we're going to hold them every week on Tuesday. You'll be able to go on to the District 106 website and see each of them as we announce them. So next week's webinar is going to be on pathways, and the title is Choose Your Path. And we're going to be going through the process for how to get started in pathways and take the assessment. So it would be beneficial if you want to learn a little bit more about how to teach your new members in the club how to do this. And as always, we will record the webinars, so you're able to register like you were today. I would like to ask at this point in time if we have some suggestions for additional webinars or if we have suggestions for additional webinars, and we'll have you put that in the chat window. Now, Stephen, we do have a question now from Michael. It says, how long should we work with a prospective member before choosing to terminate the relationship?
I'm not sure what you mean by terminate the relationship. I will say this, things change. So I would never give up on any member. If they're paying their dues and they're coming regularly, even if they're maybe not going through the program or they don't really have any goals, don't give up on them. Things may change. There for a while in my Toastmasters career, I was just going every week and was doing some things, and my life changed, and I got a lot more excited, and it's amazing where this organization has taken my life. So stick with them. You never know. And if you're trying one thing and it doesn't work, try something else. But I would say don't ever give up on an individual. If they're a member of your club, keep with them. You don't have to pressure them, but keep with them. Find out how you can serve them and be dedicated to them.
All right. Very good. We have a question from Ann Gretsch. Ann is saying the club success plan will take much more than 30 minutes to complete. Can we break this up into different sessions?
Absolutely. Do whatever makes it work for you guys. Like I said, at the beginning of the year, you may have longer meetings where you're going through some of this stuff. Maybe you pull everybody together for a long lunch and go through it in an hour and a half and get it done. But if you need to break it into smaller sessions, by all means do that. The goal is get it done, and whatever works best for you and your officers and your club, that's what you need to do.
All right. We've got a question from Ralph, and Ralph, I'm going to allow you to talk again.
Sorry if I seem to be abusing my time here, but
no problem.
Back to the question about terminating a relationship with a member. We had an experience where we had a member that was developing adversary relationships with several other members of the club and became very distracting before, during, and or after the meetings. We went through that for about 2 months at various levels of agonization, and we finally asked her if she wouldn't mind moving to a different club because it appeared that she wasn't interested in working at the levels and goals that we had for our club. Did we do that right in your eyes?
I think you did. If you get anybody that's disrupting your club, that's certainly not conducive of a quality meeting. I would certainly work with Toastmasters International when you're going to do that, because there are some certain things in the bylaws that need to be followed, policies and bylaws that need to be followed. But yeah, I think you handled that fine. So.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Well, we are at 7:47, so we have run 2 minutes over for our first session. These, as I say, these will be 45 minutes. Our intent is to hold them every week. As I mentioned earlier, our next meeting is next Tuesday, and it will be on choosing your path. I want to thank all of you for dedicating your time today and coming out and making our first Toolbox Tuesday a success. And we're gonna post the recording up to the website. So thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.